So back in 2020, a pizzeria owner noticed something just completely bizarre on his balance sheet.
Oh, I know this story. The pizza arbitrage thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. A major delivery app was somehow selling his pizzas to customers for less money than he actually charged for them.
Which makes 0 cents on paper.
Right. So he did the math, started ordering his own pizzas through the app, and successfully arbitraged his own restaurant for a profit.
That is just, I mean, it's wild.
It really is. And we are deep diving into a massive stack of sources today to figure this out. We've got logistics white papers, restaurant profit and loss statements, and industry forecasts.
Because we want to understand how a food delivery ecosystem that is projected to hit a staggering $213 billion by 2030 can operate like this.
Exactly. How can the unit economics be so completely broken that a restaurant owner can actually make money buying his own food?
Well, it highlights the inherent friction of a three-sided marketplace.
Yeah.
You have these platforms trying to balance the demands of the consumer, the driver, and the restaurant all at the exact same time.
And that has to be a nightmare to manage.
It is. Keeping all three of those entities happy or, even just marginally profitable is proving to be a monumental logistical challenge.
Okay, let's unpack this, DoorDash. When we talk about this space, they are the undisputed Goliath.
Absolutely. The biggest player in the room.
Back in 2013, you had three Stanford guys, Tony Zhu, Andy Fang, and Stanley Tang. They launched the platform, and by their 2020 IPO, Tony Zhu was a billionaire.
Yeah, and today they each still own roughly 4% of the company. It's a massive success story on the surface.
It is. I mean, we all love being able to order from multiple restaurants at once, but our core question for this deep dive is, if DoorDash is so ubiquitous, why are so many restaurants and consumers aggressively seeking out alternatives?
Right, because the sources point to a few very specific pressure points that are driving this fracture.
Like what?
Well, for one, consumers are becoming increasingly conscious of where their money is actually going.
Like they want to support local.
Exactly. There's a real desire to support local restaurants more directly, rather than funneling capital through a massive aggregator.
That makes total sense.
Plus, there's a hunt for lower fees on both sides of the transaction. And you also have users wanting specialized menus.
Oh, like hyper-focused vegan or gluten-free filters?
Yeah. Those often get buried in a monolithic app's algorithm. People also want more personalized customer support and, unique loyalty features that the big guys just don't offer.
Which brings us to the fundamental challenge of building a competitor to that Goliath. I mean, DoorDash spent billions building a logistical network from scratch just to handle the last mile of delivery.
Right, which is an insane capital burn.
But if you already happen to have a massive fleet of drivers circling every major city on Earth, you can bypass that initial phase entirely.
Which is exactly what Uber Eats did when they launched back in 2014.
Right.
What's fascinating here is how they weaponized their existing ride-sharing infrastructure. I mean, they didn't just tell the drivers to start picking up food.
It wasn't that simple.
No, they had to completely overhaul their routing algorithms. Because moving a human being from point A to point B is a pretty linear calculation.
Yeah, just get in the car and go.
Right. But batching multiple thermal bags of food from different restaurants, going to different addresses across a dense grid, well, that's entirely different.
I can't even imagine the math behind that.
Yeah, and you have to account for food prep times and traffic. It is exponentially more complex.
But they pulled it off. They leveraged that established grid to offer massive geographic coverage, highly accurate contactless delivery, and features like group orders.
Yeah, the tracking is incredible.
It is. I actually look at Uber Eats like a luxury toll road.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah, think about it. It is undeniably fast, the pavement is smooth, and it gets you to a wide variety of destinations. But the tolls are steep.
Oh, they definitely are.
And they hit you at multiple checkpoints along the route.
The pricing structure is basically engineered to extract maximum value at every single step of the transaction.
Right. Our data breaks this down pretty clearly. For you, the consumer, the baseline delivery fee typically ranges from $2.99 to $8.99.
Which is already a lot for a cheap meal.
And that is just the entry ticket. Then you add a service fee, which is usually around 15% of the total order.
Plus taxes.
Plus taxes. Then, mirroring their rideshare model, you are subject to potential surge pricing if it's, say, a busy Friday night.
Right, the peak hours.
And if you are just ordering a single burrito for yourself, well, they might tack on a small order fee too.
So the base price of the meal becomes almost secondary to the logistical cost of just getting it to your door.
It's crazy.
It goes back to that three-sided marketplace problem we talked about. Uber Eats has to subsidize the driver's time and gas, process the transaction, and attempt to turn a profit themselves.
Which forces them to inflate the final bill.
Exactly.
So as a listener, you have to ask yourself if that seamless order tracking is actually worth a $10 or $15 premium on top of your Friday night pizza.
That's the real question.
But weaponizing a fleet of cars hits a hard logistical wall in ultra-dense urban environments, right?
That's for sure.
Because you cannot rely on a rideshare infrastructure where a car physically cannot park to run inside and grab a bag of food.
Right, which leaves a vacuum in places like Manhattan or downtown Chicago. The logistics of a sprawling suburb require cars.
Yeah.
But the density of a major city requires bikes, scooters, and a totally different operational strategy.
Enter Grubhub.
Yes, exactly.
They are headquartered in Chicago, and they've positioned themselves as the urban veteran of the group.
They really dominate those specific city hubs.
Yeah, by catering to a highly diverse set of culinary needs and focusing on the habitual daily user.
And the tech stack they deploy is heavily optimized for retention. Our sources really highlight their activity tracking dashboard, continuous push alerts, and a very aggressive loyalty program.
Yeah, they offer exclusive member deals to keep people coming back.
Right, they want the app to be a daily utility for the urban professional.
But let's look at the actual unit economics for the restaurants partnering with them. Grubhub connects diners with local spots of all sizes, but that connection places a massive financial burden on the kitchen.
It's a heavy lift.
Their delivery fees for restaurants start at 10%. So what does this all mean for the restaurant owner? If Grubhub dictates a baseline 10% fee just to be visible on the platform, does the restaurant actually have control?
Well, no, they don't. It forces a really difficult financial maneuver. To make the math work on a 10% or higher margin hit, restaurants on Grubhub are often forced to implement minimum order requirements.
Like you have to spend $20 or we won't deliver.
Exactly. Or they artificially inflate their menu prices on the app compared to their dine-in menus.
I see that all the time.
Right, so the restaurant gets the visibility of being in the marketplace, but they forfeit control over the unit economics of their own food.
And if the core frustration is restaurants bleeding 15 to 30% of their revenue per order just to access their own local market, a structural rebellion in the industry was kind of inevitable.
Completely inevitable.
And that brings us to platforms trying to just completely sever that marketplace dependency, like ChowNow.
Right, because ChowNow abandons the marketplace model entirely. They operate on a software as a service, or SaaS, model.
Okay.
And they specifically target independent restaurants who are desperate to reclaim their margins.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Their commission rate on orders is 0%.
Yeah, unlimited commission-free orders.
Wait, really? A 0% commission model immediately raises a red flag for me regarding their revenue stream. How are they sustaining the platform if they aren't taking a cut of the transaction?
But charging for the infrastructure rather than the transaction.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, ChowNow charges a flat monthly subscription fee. It starts from $0 for basic setups, up to $300 or more depending on volume and specific premium features.
And there's no setup fee.
Typically, no. They generally waive setup fees. Though, standard payment processing rates do still apply.
Let's run the numbers on that $300 a month tier. At first glance, a fixed monthly software fee sounds like a hefty upfront burden for a small restaurant with tight cash flow.
It can be daunting.
But compare that to an aggregator taking 20% of every order. If a restaurant does $10,000 in delivery sales a month, the aggregator takes $2,000.
Wow.
But ChowNow just takes $300.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the financial logic is just undeniable for high-volume independent restaurants.
Totally.
But the value proposition extends way beyond just the monthly math. The SaaS model provides POS, point of sale, integration directly into the kitchen's existing workflow.
That's a huge time saver.
And they offer custom branding, meaning the customer interacts with the restaurant's distinct brand, not an aggregator's generic interface.
Oh, that's smart. They also get integrated marketing tools and direct ownership of the customer data, right?
Yeah, which allows them to build their own loyalty programs.
I look at the dynamic between an aggregator like Uber Eats and a SaaS platform like ChowNow as the difference between renting an apartment and taking out a mortgage.
That is a very fitting comparison when you consider asset ownership.
Yeah. When you use an aggregator, You are basically renting. It's fully furnished, you move in today, and the platform actively brings hungry customers to your digital door.
Right.
But the rent, which is the commission, is sky high. You don't own the customer data, and you build zero brand equity.
You're just another listing on their app.
Exactly. ChowNow is the mortgage. You have to put down that fixed monthly fee, but you are building your own brand equity.
Right.
However, I have to push back on this being a perfect lifeline for every restaurant.
Oh, it definitely has drawbacks.
Right, because if you leave the DoorDash or Grubhub marketplace, you lose the search bar. You lose the customer acquisition engine entirely.
And that is the inherent risk of the SaaS model. You gain total control over your margins and your data, but the burden of marketing falls entirely on your shoulders.
Which a lot of restaurant owners don't have time for.
No, they don't. You have to convince the consumer to actively seek out your specific digital storefront instead of passively scrolling through a centralized app.
It is a massive shift in how we think about the logistics middleman.
Yeah.
Now, we've focused heavily on hot food from restaurants, but the infrastructure of delivery is agnostic to what is actually in the bag.
That's a great point.
Right. If you can move a burrito across town in 20 minutes, you can move a gallon of milk. Which brings us to the blurring lines of the industry and the grocery crossover. Instacart.
Instacart built its foundation by partnering with massive national retailers, like Costco, Kroger, and Target, for same-day grocery delivery.
Right, everybody knows them for groceries.
But the industry analyses in our sources highlight a very aggressive expansion strategy for them. They are pushing hard into prepared foods.
Oh, wow. So they're looking at the revenue generated by a single takeout meal and realizing they can capture that same transaction while the user is already ordering their weekly groceries.
Exactly. They want to be the single logistical interface for literally everything you consume.
Which is convenient.
The integration of prepared foods alongside bulk groceries offers a really unique value proposition, particularly for families or large households.
Especially if they're heavily incentivized by the Instacart Plus membership program.
Right. It feels like a no-brainer.
But let me challenge the actual financial reality for you, the consumer, here, because our sources highlight some strict pricing mechanics that obscure the true cost.
The fees can really sneak up on you.
They do. Instacart charges delivery fees ranging from $3.99 to $7.99 per order, plus a service fee of 5 to 10%.
And that's before tipping.
Exactly. And here is the crucial caveat from our sources that users often miss. The prices listed on the Instacart app are frequently higher than the prices sitting on the physical shelf in the store.
Yeah, the in-app markup is a critical psychological tool for them.
How so?
Well, it allows the platform to advertise lower delivery fees or push the value of their subscription model while quietly recuperating their logistical costs through inflated item prices.
Is the convenience of that Instacart Plus membership actually masking a hidden markup for you, the shopper? You think you are saving money with free delivery, but if the rotisserie chicken costs $2 more in the app and the avocados are marked up 50 cents each, you are quietly paying a massive premium for the logistics.
It exemplifies how convenience can just totally obfuscate cost.
And plus, our sources note the service is largely unavailable in rural areas, so it becomes a highly localized, premium-priced convenience.
Exactly. The consumer focuses on the time saved walking the aisles, while the platform structures the pricing to ensure they capture a margin on both the delivery service and the physical goods.
So we have aggregators charging high commissions, we have SaaS platforms requiring monthly subscriptions, and grocery apps utilizing hidden markups.
Quite the landscape.
Let's say a restaurant owner looks at this entire landscape and decides they want absolute, uncompromising autonomy. They don't want to rent, and they don't want to use a standardized mortgage platform. What is the final frontier?
The ultimate alternative is completely building and owning a custom, standalone delivery app.
Enter platforms like Enatega.
Yeah, Enatega operates as a foundational development service.
So they build it for you.
Right. They cater to bustling multi-cuisine hotspots or cozy single-vendor establishments, basically providing a team of experts to help a business build a proprietary delivery application from the ground up.
So it's perfectly aligned with their specific operational needs.
Exactly.
You completely cut the cord. No marketplace algorithms burying your menu, no monthly third-party aggregator fees, no shared branding. You own the digital real estate outright.
Complete autonomy over the code, the customer interface, and the data. But the barrier to success here is exceptionally high.
Because of the consumer, right. The friction for the consumer is the biggest hurdle.
Oh, absolutely.
Think about it. If I want tacos on a Tuesday, asking me to go to the App Store, download the Bob's Tacos app, create a new account, input my credit card information, and learn a totally new interface just for one meal. That is a massive ask.
It's too much friction.
Yeah. I already have Uber Eats on my phone. My credit card is already saved.
And the data shows that consumers are incredibly resistant to app load. A standalone app really only succeeds if the restaurant already possesses a fiercely loyal, high-frequency customer base.
Yeah, makes sense.
Like, if a customer orders from you twice a week, the friction of downloading a dedicated app is justified by the specialized rewards or direct service you can offer.
But if it's just occasionally.
If they order once a month, they will almost always default back to the convenience of the aggregator.
So we are looking at a vast spectrum of convenience versus control.
Right.
On one end, you have DoorDash and Uber Eats offering maximum convenience for the user and maximum visibility for the restaurant at the cost of staggering fees.
Yeah.
And on the other end, you have Enatega offering total control and zero per order fees at the cost of zero built-in visibility.
The $213 billion projection for this industry by 2030 suggests that we won't see a single winner-take-all model.
What will we see then?
More of a hyper-fragmented market, where restaurants and consumers constantly jump between these different models based on their immediate needs.
Which means navigating this space requires being an active, conscious participant.
Exactly.
Based on the industry analyses we've unpacked today, our sources provide a clear checklist for you before tapping that order button.
Right. So the first variable to verify is geographic coverage.
Always check that first.
Yeah, because while DoorDash might reach the suburbs, alternatives like Grubhub might only be viable in the urban core, and Instacart might leave rural users entirely stranded.
Right. Second, you have to compare the restaurant variety. A platform with 0% commissions doesn't help you if none of your favorite local spots have adopted the software.
Exactly. Third, deeply scrutinize the fee structures. Compare the base delivery fees against the service fees across different platforms in the exact same order.
And aggressively watch out for those hidden in-app menu markups.
Oh, absolutely.
A lower delivery fee means nothing if the food itself costs 20% more on the app than it does in the restaurant.
Fourth, investigate the customer service reputation. When an order inevitably goes wrong, you want a platform that offers quick resolutions rather than routing you to an automated chatbot loop.
That is the worst.
It really is. And finally, calculate the actual mathematical value of their subscription or rewards programs based on your personal ordering volume.
Because an exclusive loyalty offer only offsets a higher service fee if you actually use the app enough to trigger the reward.
Right.
The one-size-fits-all era of food delivery is basically over. Whether you are ordering a late-night meal or managing the kitchen preparing it, the logistics of getting food from a stove to a dining room table have become one of the most complex battlegrounds in modern commerce.
We are witnessing the real-time evolution of last-mile logistics, driven entirely by the tension between profitability and convenience.
So I will leave you with a final thought to chew on as you look at the apps on your phone. As this technology continues to scale toward 2030, offering everything from massive multi-restaurant mega orders to zero-commission local lifelines is the ultimate luxury of the modern age, simply having food magically appear at your door. Or is the new luxury knowing exactly who is profiting from the meal on your table? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Stay curious, keep analyzing the systems around you, and we will catch you next time.